सहनः भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः तंयदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नान्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं नोभयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारम् प्रपञ्चोपशमम् शान्तम् शिवम् अद्वैतम् चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः। निषेधमुखेनैव तुर्यस्य प्रतिपादनम्। So Bhashyakara thus explain how Turyasya Pratipadanam, the Turiya is expounded or delineated Nisheda Mukhena Pratipadanam. The knowledge of Turiya, the teaching is by way of negating, na Vidhi Mukhena, not by way of describing what Turiya is, but by way of saying what Turiya is not. And Bhashyakara explains why that is so, and how that generates the knowledge of Turiya. Vrittanuvadapurukam Uttara Grantham Avatarayati. Now, Vritta Anuvada. By Anuvada, reiteration of Vritta, what has gone by, Uttara Grantham Avatarayati. Bhashyakara explains now the following text, Nantah Prajnam Nabahish Prajnam. So Bhashyakara says, Soyamatma Paramartha Aparamartha Rupaha Chatushpad iti Uktaha. Uktaha, this is what has been said. This is called Vritta Anuvada. Soyamatma, that is Atma, which is Brahma. So far, the three pada, 3 quarters have been described. Jagristhanaha, Swapnasthanaha, Sushuptisthanaha. Vaishvanarah Tejasah Prajna Paramartha Aparamartha Rupah. So interesting thing is the Atma is Paramartha Aparamartha Rupah. As Vishwa Tejasa Prajna Aparamartha Rupah. As Turiya Paramartha Rupah. As king, minister, beggar Aparamartha Rupah. As the actor Paramartha Rupah. Chatushpad Yukta Swayam Atma Chatushpad. This Atma contains 4 quarters. Bhashyakara says that these quarters do not enjoy the same degree of reality. The 4th quarter is Paramartha Rupa. The first 3 quarters are Aparamartha Rupa. Chatushpaditi Uktaha Tasya Aparamartha Rupam Avidyakrutam. Of this now, the 3 padas have been described, which is Aparamartha Rupam, which is not absolutely real, which is Mithya. Avidyakrutam, which is the product of ignorance. Meaning that think that I am Vishwa, or I am Tejasa, or I am Prajna is Avidyakrutam. This notion is born of ignorance of the true nature of self. Rajju Sarpadi Samam, like taking Rajju to be a Sarpa, or Mala, or Bhusidra, or Danda. Similarly also taking self to be Vishwa, Tejasa, Prajna is like taking a rope to be a snake, or a garland, or a stick. Padatraya Lakshanam. So this is the nature of what has been described so far, the 3 quarters, which is Aparamartha Rupam, which is not absolute, which is not real. Bijankura Sthaniyam. Why do you say it's not Paramartha Rupam? Why do you say it's not real? Bijankura Sthaniyam. Because what's the nature of this Padatraya? Bijankura Sthaniyam. Where Bijam is caused, Ankura is the effect. So later on you say Tattva Agrahanam Bijam. What is Bijam? The cause is Tattva Agrahanam. The non-perception of truth is the cause. Anyatha Grahanam Phalam. Anyatha Grahanam. The false perception is the result of that. So Avarana and Vikshepa. Because Avarana is the cause and Vikshepa is the effect. Not knowing the rope as rope is the cause, and seeing it as snake is the effect or Vikshepa. Similarly also, so therefore, there again, in that itself, Vikshepa also there is cause and effect relationship. That not knowing the truth is a state of deep sleep state, which is cause, and knowing it wrongly is the waking dream states, they are the effect. So what we said, Vishwa and Tejasa are Karya, and Prajna is Karanam, or Bija and Ankura. Prajna is the nature of Bija, and Vishwa and Tejasa of the nature of Ankura. And so they are related as cause and effect. And sometimes what is cause today becomes effect tomorrow, effect also becomes cause. So Vishwa also becomes, the vehicle becomes cause for the dream. Dream becomes the effect. And dream leads to sleep. So that is how they are all interconnected in this manner. Therefore none of them can be described independently, and therefore all of them are therefore relative. Sapeksha, therefore Mithya. So this is the Vrittanuvada. What has been described so far, the 3 quarters are Aparamartha Rupa, not of the nature of absolute reality. They are the superimpositions characterized by cause and effect. atha idanim abijatmakam paramata swarupam rajusthaniyam. So far describes sarpa, mala, danda. That is what we describe. For what? For in fact, making us to know the name of the nature of Rajju. Abhijatmakam Paramata Swarupam. So Abhijatmakam, which is not Bija nor Phala, Ankura. So now that which is beyond which is devoid of the ideas of cause and effect, which is neither a cause nor an effect. Even the Brahma may be called the cause of creation, but really it is not cause in primary sense anyway. No causality in Brahman. And the apurvam, anaparam. It doesn't have purva, meaning that doesn't have cause. Anaphalam, anaparam, doesn't have apara or phala. Meaning that in the knowledge of Turiya, the idea of cause and effect are not there. Whereas in knowledge of Vishwa, Taisa or Prajna, the ideas of cause and effect will be involved. So, Abhijatmakam, non-causal, Paramata Swarupam, absolutely real, Rajusthaniyam. So, Sarpa, etc., all negatable, therefore, the Aparamata Rupa, the Mithya, Rajju is non-negatable in that example, therefore, it is real Paramata Rupam. Basically, Paramata Swarupam is Paramatika Satta. So, Vyavaharika Satta, Pratibhasika Satta, Vyavaharika Satta, Paramatika Satta. Pratibhasika Satta, Jiva Srishti, the creation of Jiva, individual mind like dream, like Ragadvesha, etc. Vyavaharika Satta, Ishvara Srishti. So, we have, even upon Ishvara Srishti also, we superimpose on personal views of Ragadvesha, that part is Jiva Srishti. And Swapna is purely Jiva Srishti, and which is not Srishti. Paramadika Satta, which is not Srishti, which is self-existing, self-shining, self-sufficient. That is the absolute reality, non-negatable in all the three periods of time. Even Ishvara Srishti also is negatable. When you fall asleep or deep sleep, Ishvara Srishti also is not there. Meaning that even the Vyavaharika Satta or this phenomenal world also is negated when we are fast asleep. But then also what is absolute reality is not negated, because it is self-shining, self-existing. What shines on account of something else, what exists on account of something else, can be negated by removing that something else. But even in deep sleep also, the Turiya, the self, continues to shine. So it's Paramadika Satta, non-negatable, self-existing. It was the same in all the three periods of time. It was the same at all times, at all places, and all conditions. And there were in words of Pujya Swamiji, which is infallible, most trustworthy, which will never disappoint me, never fail me. It always consistently the same. Nothing else is consistent. Everything else undergoes change. The way you determine something like this now, later it is different. So you thought that you are seeing the same person, you are not. Coming to the same place, you are not. It changes. But this is one that does not change. Therefore, infallible. Swami used to say that human being is in search of infallible. We should never disappoint me, never fail me, most trustworthy, because even the same. So Paramata Swarum. So something like that is there in our life. Thank God. Because if we look at our own desire, the real Trishna, if we see, is to see the infallible, have the infallible. So we are desiring that. Not knowing what we desire, we are desiring that. So that desire is then directed to wrong things. That's why it's called Trishna, which can never be satisfied. But I am born with a desire. The desire behind all desires is the desire for this infallible, for the Paramadika Satta. So Paramartha Swarupam, Rajusthaniyam, like a substratum, like a rope, upon which the snake gets superimposed. Sarpadi sthaniya ukta sthanatra nirakarnena aha. Nantah prajnam ityadina. So next the text now begins with Nantah prajnam. What does it do? The Paramatha Swarupam aha. The Aparamatha Swarupam has been stated in the 3 quarters, and now the Paramatha Swarupam is being stated in the 4th quarter. So what is that Paramatha Swarupam? Rajusthaniyam. It is of the nature of Rajju, meaning that which is real, non-negatable, the substratum, the adhishthanam. How do you teach or make someone see the nature of Rajju? Sarpadi sthaniya uktasthana nirakaranena. So this fellow says it's a snake, it's a garland, it is a stick. So nirakaranena, these ideas have to be negated, means falsified. Why they are falsified? To be falsified? Because they are false. Understand that nothing real is negated, nothing real can be negated also. You cannot negate the rope there. What you can negate is the notion of snake and garland, etc. Only then he will know the rope as rope. So, Sarpadisthaniya Uktasthanatraya. Uktasthanatraya, the waker, the dreamer, the deep sleeper, or waking, dreaming, deep sleep, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Vishwa, Pratayasa, Prajna, Nirakaranena, by falsifying them. That's all Nirakarana means. It's not destroying something but falsifying. What is taken to be real is falsifying, means that here what is false is what you are taking to be real. So make him see that snake is not real, the garland is not real, the stick is not real. So thus what he thinks is real. Otherwise there is no need to say it is not a snake. He thinks it is a snake, then you have to say that what you think a snake is not snake, is not garland, is not a stick. Then he drops those conclusions. And thus this conclusion dropped, then is ready to see what is, because then superimposition doesn't take place. The superimpositions are dropped. So sthanatra nirakaranena. By nirakaranam, by falsifying the sthanatra, the vishwa, tayasa prajna, or waking, dream, deep sleep, aha, nantah prajna ityadi. So therefore, this text beginning with the word nantah prajnam, not the inward looking self, not the dreamer. What the text accomplishes is by negating what is false in order for us to realize what is real. Tasya vidhimukena nirdeshanupattim praguktam abhiparetya. So that Turiya cannot be communicated as so and so. And therefore nishedamukena, what it is not, what it is not. So Anandagiri is asking a question. Ki uttarena granthena turiyam pratipadyate. But the text begins nantah prajnam, na bahish prajnam. Kim turiyam pratipadyate. Is it describing Turiya? This text, nantah prajnam, na bahish prajnam, is it telling us what Turiya is? Kim va tasya sthanatra vailakshanam vivakshate. When it says nantah prajnam, it is not antah prajnam, it is not the dreamer, not the waker, not the sleeper. So, sthanatra, waking, dream, deep sleep, or waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. So it's not the sleeper, it's not a dreamer, not the waker, not the sleeper. What does it say? Is it telling us what Turiya is? Or is it telling us that Turiya is different from these three? See, what's the language? Nantah prajnam. It is not antah prajnam. It is not tejasam. The bahish prajnam, not bahish prajnam. It is not Vaishvara. Nor prajnana ghanam. It is not prajna. So in these words, is the Upanishad telling us what Turiya is? But it does not, because already it is established that it cannot tell you what is. It cannot be described in this language of what is. Then is it telling us what it is not? Antah prajna. It is not antah prajna, not bahish prajna, not uhetah prajna, not prajnana ghana. That it is different from all of this. You understand this question? What does this passage tell us? That Turiya is different from dreamer, different from waker, because na antah prajnam. It is not antah prajna, it is not dreamer. Na bahish prajnam, it is not bahish prajnam, not waker. Na prajnana ghanam, it is not sleeper. Is this text trying to tell us that Turiya is different from waker, dreamer, sleeper, etc.? This is a question. When you read this is a question now. Prathame pratipadakasya vidhana vyatekaat anya nishedana sakyam. See, when you say what a given thing is, and this is the part. This is called, so, pratipadyate, vidhimukhena pratipadyate, when this object is described as what it is. See, this is a part. It tells us what it is. Then there is no need to say that this is not a cloth, not a table, not a clock, you follow? So when antah prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bahyatah prajnam, not this, not this, not this. If this passage is telling what Turiya is, then there is no need to say it is not this, not this. So vidhimukhena, this is not pratipadana. Dvitiyapi, if it is trying to tell us that it is not waker, not dreamer, not deep sleeper, that anathakam apadyeta, it's not necessary to say that. Now that you have described the 3 quarters, and you are proceeding to describe the 4th quarter, by calling it 4th, it is clear that it is not 3. So then why should I say it is not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd? By calling it 4th, it is already implied it is not 1, 2, 3. Then why is Upanishad saying it is not waker, not dreamer, not deep sleeper? Looks like what the Upanishad is saying serves no purpose. It's not telling us what Turiya is. If it's telling that, it need not say what it is not. And when it says it is 4th quarter, why is it saying it is not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd? So, a question is asked. Bhashyakara says, Nanu atmanah chatushpatvam pratignyaya. Soyam atma chatushpat. That's pratignya, proposition. That is, the atma has 4 quarters. Padatra kathanenaiva. Of the 4 quarters, the 3 quarters have been already stated. Vaishvanara prathama padaha, Tejasa dvitiya padaha, Prajna trutih padaha. So padatra kathanenaiva. Chaturthasya antah prajnadibhya anyatve siddhe. It's clear that it's chaturtha, 4th. So it's not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd. So it's not waker, not dreamer, not deep sleeper. It's already siddham by just calling it 4th. Chaturthasya antah prajnadibhya anyatve siddhe. Chaturtha means it is not first 3. And that is different from the first 3, is already established, is already, by calling it 4th. Nantah prajna mityadi pratished anathaka. Then why are you saying it is not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd? On one hand you call it 4th, and then say it is not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd. Why? By calling it 4th is very clear, this is not first 3. Anarthakaha, looks like This does not convey anything new. He is not waker. His fourth quarter, so he is not waker. He is not dreamer, not sleeper. So, Anandagiri says, Na tavat turiyam vidhimukhena bodhyam tasya svaprakashayitva. You cannot describe Turiya as such and such in words. Suppose it could be described as such and such, then such and such illumines Turiya, reveals Turiya. Turiya is illumined by words, and Turiya is self-effulgent, so it can't be illumined by something else. Meaning that Turiya does not lend itself to being described as such and such. Let's go Vidhimukha. Vidhimukha means telling what it is. It's already described anyway. The Turiya does not lend itself to being described as such and such, that it is great, it is wonderful, it is limitless, it is Brahman. If limitless describes Turiya, then word limitless illumines Turiya. Then Turiya becomes illumined. Then it is not Svaprakasha. So it can't be illumined, and therefore Vidhimukhena, that it is such and such, that Upadesha is not possible. All right, we accept that. Tathapi Samarupita Vishvadirupena Pratipannam. What Upanishad wants to say, that even though we call it fourth, is not something that is totally different from the first three. We call it fourth, all right, but by calling fourth, it does not mean that it's totally distinct from the first three, because tathapi samaropita vishvadirupena pratipannam. In fact, when I say that I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am Vishwa, I am Tejasa, I am Prajna, that I am happens to be Turiya. So I who is Turiya is declaring myself to be, who says I am Vega? So important thing is that Upanishad wants us to appreciate Turiya's very self, Pratyeka Atmadaya. So when I declare myself to be a waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, who is declaring that? So Samaropyata Vishvadirupena, I superimpose the idea of a waker upon myself, and then say waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. So they are Samaropyata, Samyak Aropya, superimposed ideas. Tan nishedena bodhyate. Therefore, what is negated is the superimposition part. Tasya nisheda anishede. So tatha asya yatha aprathanat. So therefore, when Upanishad says na antah prajnam, antah prajna is negated. What is negated? In the notion I am antah prajna, the antah prajna, you are not antah prajna. The you are is not negated, understand? Antah prajna is negated. I say I am Bahish prajna, you are not Bahish prajna. I am Prajnana Ghana, you are not Prajnana Ghana. In that you are is not negated, understand? The Antah Prajna is negated, Bahish Prajna is negated, the Prajnana Ghana, why? Because they are superimposed. So they are the ideas upon I am which are on account of superimposition arising from identification of gross body, subtle body, causal body. And therefore, Samaropyata Vishvadirupena. So Pratipannam, what in fact I am experiencing is Turiya, understand? What I am experiencing all the time is Turiya, but along with that, I also experience gross body. I lump them together and I say that I am a waker. The waker belongs to gross world and gross body. So I am is Turiya. So Turiya alone is experience. I am only, that's all I am talking about, that is Turiya only. What I am experiencing is Turiya. Along with that, superimposition automatically takes place because Turiya shines as the subject, the gross body shines as object. So both of them are shining together. and not recognizing the Druk-Dushya Viveka, not recognizing that the Turiya is shining as the Druk, a subject, and the gross body is shining as Drushya as object, I lump them, meaning that I take them as having the same degree of reality, and then I say that I am the body, I am the Veka. Therefore, negatable part is only what is superimposed. Therefore, Samaropita Vishwadi Rupena Pratipannam. The Turiya alone is known by me or thought to be by me as a Veka. When I say I am Veka, I am Turiya. But then the Turiya alone is thought to be Veka by me. Turiya alone is thought to be dreamer by me. Is thought to be deep sleeper. So the thought of the notion part is to be removed. Tat anisheda. If that nisheda is not done, I already know Turiya. I already have my own conclusion about Turiya or Atma, that I am a Vaker. And if they don't say, hey, this is wrong, you are not Vaker, then I will never know the true nature of myself. So, yathavat aprasanat. If I did not know Atma at all, then it's a different matter. But then I know Atma opposed to what I am. Because in case of Atma, the self, the classical conditions of adhyasa are obtaining. Just as in rope snake case, we have the general knowledge that this is something, but not the particular knowledge that this is rope. So samanya jnanam is there, vishesha jnanam is not there. That is the classical condition when the superimposition happens upon the vishesha part. This is part remains, that's called adharan. This is adhishthanam, is the rope part. Similarly, in case of the Atma also, I am, ahamasmi, sadabhami, kadachinnaham priyah. That amasti, bhati, priyam, that samanya jnana is always there. I'm always aware of the self. But vishesha jnanam, that I am turiya, I am fourth, I am Brahman, I am non-dual, I am Purna, that is not there. So upon that aspect, superimposition takes place. So Purna is taken to be Apurna. Limitless taken as limit, etc. And that has to be, if it is not negated, if I am not made to see that, hey, you are not Vaikar. Vaikar is not you. You are there, but as a Vaikar, this is a wrong notion. Unless these wrong notions are negated, I would never come to know my true nature. I think that what I take about myself is real. I never question. The reason why this has to be taught to me, or this has to be brought to my attention, to somebody else to make me see, is because I am on my own. I will never think that my conclusions are wrong. I know I am a man, I am a Swami, I am so and so, I am father, I am mother. I never question that. You are not father. What? You are not mother. You are not son. Makes me think, what do you mean I am not father? Are you father all the time? Your father only with reference to your progeny, son, daughter? Is father a non-negable part of you? Thus I am made to see that father is a superimposition for I, etc., etc. So also I am made to see that the Vaker is a superimposition, dreamer is a superimposition, deep sleeper is superimposition. If I know the superimposition as superimposition, then I can let it go. Then I won't hold on to it. The reason why I am holding on to my wrong notions is because I think that they are right. So that's what Upanishad is telling us. That this conclusion on your part, that your Vaker is not right. The dreamer is not right. Sleeper, that conclusion is not right. Ataha na nisheda anarthakyamiti. Therefore, so Purva Pakshi said that nanda ityadi pratishid anarthakah. When by calling it Turiya the fourth, is already clear that it is different from three, why are you saying that you are not this, not this, not this? Because what is negated is the adhyaropa. The whole fellow is not negated, understand? They don't say you are not waker, you are not dreamer, you are not sleeper. It doesn't say you are not. I am not waker, then who am I? Dreamer? That's not I am. No, you are not dreamer. Am I sleeper? No. Am so and so? No. So they realize each one of them, then they tell us why you are not. It is already because we are told what is antah prajna. Saptanga, ekonavimshadimukha, antah prajna, taijasa, etc. So we are told who this fellow is, meaning that how the idea of antah prajnatam or taijasa arises on account of identification with all these things. The anatomy of the Bahish Prajna, Antah Prajna, Prajnana Ghana was described. So, what causes the idea of Antah Prajnatvam, Bahish Prajnatvam, Prajnana Ghanatvam? When I see that, I realize that those are the designations I superimpose upon myself on account of something that I am not. That I call myself a waker. Oh, because Bahish Prajna, Sthula Bhuk. Because these conditions I call myself waker. Do they belong to I? All this belong to something else. So I am super. So that is why by describing anatomy of waker, we are told how the idea of waker arises. So all I need to do is recognize that no, waker is an idea arising on account of superimposing these things upon me. So the dreamer, so the deep sleeper. Otherwise, why should Upanishad describe it in such detail? And including these samasti, vyasti, etc., vyasti, samasti. So I can see the fallacy of that. But when I am told that you are not waker, then I realize how the idea of waker comes. By identifying the gross body, sense organs, calling myself the bhokta, the experiencer of the gross objects. Is it my identity? Then I am made to see that it's wrong identity, you are not that. So you are not the dreamer. So therefore, atahanna nisheda anarthakyamiri. Therefore, nisheda is not anarthaka, is not meaningless, it is extremely meaningful. Why? Because the adhyaropa is being done already. Nisheda is apavada. Apavada is meaningful when adhyaropa is there. This is a prasakta pratisheda. You should negate for which there is an occasion to negate. You can't tell Swamiji, hey, you are not an elephant. There is no question about it. But if I have some notion, then you can negate that. So prasakta, I declare myself a waker, then there is scope, you are not a waker. I declare myself to be a dreamer, you are not a dreamer. When I don't declare I am an elephant, they don't have to tell me you are not an elephant. I never said I am an elephant. So, this sometimes conversation happens. I never say that. Because some aprasakta pratisheda, mother sometimes keep on telling children, I didn't say that. That prasakta pratisheda is not there. This is prasakta, because I declare myself to be a dreamer, a waker, a sleeper, and so and so. Therefore, they need to say that you are not so, you are not so, you are not so. Enabling me to see that this is an idea arising from identification, superimposition. Turiyasya padatraya vilakshanaasya arhadeva siddhavapi. It is true that when you say Turiya the fourth, Arthat, in natural course, it is natural that it's established that it's different from three. Jivatmana sthanatre vishishtasya Turiyam brahmaswarupamiti. But I think that I am a Jivatma. Who is Jivatma? Sthanatre vishishtasya. What is sthanam? Waking. What do I say? I am waker. Sthanadvayam, dream. I am a dreamer. I am a sleeper. So this is what makes me Jivatma. Sthanatre vishishtam. Vishishtasya, of this Jivatma who takes on the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Turiyam Brahma Swarupa. Hey, waker is not your Swarupa. Dreamer is not your Swarupa. Sleeper is not your Swarupa. But so Turiya is your Swarupa. iti na upadeshamantarena siddhyati. Unless I am made to see, it will never happen that I will discover it on my own. So this is why the teacher is needed. With entertaining already false notions about myself, and there never is an occasion of questioning these notions. Already concluded I am not the 10th man, I am searching for the 10th man. I need somebody else to say that, hey, your conclusion is wrong. That I am a waker, you are a waker, is wrong. So, na upadeshamantarena siddhyati turiya granth arthavan iti. Therefore, this one is teaching that you are not waker, etc., is meaningful by enabling me to give up this superimposition. Yatha vidhimukhena pravruttena tattvamasi vakyena sthanatra sakshina tvam padalakshyartha tatpadalakshya brahmata lakshanaya odhyate. Yatha tattvamasi, what it says, you are that. Vidhimukhena. So it looks like that is telling me what I am. You are Brahman. Is telling me what I am. It's called Vidhimukha. Telling you what you are. Here it says you are not. So language is different. It is Nisheda Mukha. That Vakya is Vidhimukha. But even then, Tattvamasi the Vakyana is not really Vidhimukha, meaning is not telling us what I am. But sthanatra sakshina tvam-padalakshasya tvat-padalakshya brahmata. That you who are the witness of the three states of awareness, the witness that you are not waker. You are the witness of waking. You are not dreamer. You are witness of dreaming. You are not sleeper. You are witness of sleeping. That you are. So, tatpada lakshya brahmata. That I am made to see that what I am is nothing but consciousness, which is nothing but Brahman. So lakshana, by lakshana vritti, udhyate. Tatha, so really that also is telling us what I am not. Because I think that I am a jivatma, and therefore this by lakshana vritti, this Mahavakya teaches us by only negating the elements in myself and Brahman which are contradictory. So bhaga tyaga lakshana. Even though bhaga is there, what you are, but tyaga is involved, what I am not. And so, tatha nisheda shastrena tatparya vritya jivasya turiya brahmatvam pradipadadam dushtam tamaha. Similarly also this nisheda shastra, nanta prajnam. And also tatparya vritya. What is the intended meaning is to reveal that you are turiya, you are Brahma. And therefore, pradipadadatum, that dashtantamaha tattvamasi. First is that thou art, you are Brahman. Vidhimukhena, by telling me what I am. So I am Brahman, you are Brahman. I am not a jiva. So you who take yourself as jiva, you are Brahman. By saying that the jivatva has to be, that I have to let go of the jivatva identification and see myself as Brahman. So there also the nisheda is involved of letting go from me what is opposed to Brahman, what creates the idea of limitedness. So similarly also the Nisheda Shastra, by letting go what I am not, it is telling me what I am, that I am Brahman or Turiya. And so Bhashyakara said, na sarpadi vikalpa pratishedena Rajju Swarupa Pratipattivat. That Pratipatti, knowledge of Rajju Swarupa, the true nature of Rajju can be gained only by negating the idea. You are not negating Sarpa. What are you negating? The I am Sarpaha. Sarpa is not negated. The notion that this is Sarpa is negated. Notion that this is a Mala is negated. What is notion or projection, supreme, that alone can be negated because it's not really there. So, Rajju Swarupa Pratipattivat, and that is how one comes to know that this is Rajju. Trivastasya Atmana. Similarly, it is not that Turiya is something different from the three. Triavastasya Atmana. Turiya is very much present in all those three. So, from one standpoint, it is different from the three, but the three are not different from this. When you say 3 and 4, 4 is different from 3, and 3 different are different from 4, but that's not the fourth here. Usually, when you say 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth is different from the 3, and 3 are different from the fourth. But that's not the case there. The fourth is different from the 3, but the 3 are not different from the 4. Why? Because this fourth is present in 3 also. So, Trivastasya Atmana Turiyatvena. So that Atma that obtains very much in all the 3 states is a self. That Atma is thought to be taught that you are fourth or Turiya. Not Atma that is not in 3 states, because who is being taught here? The Upadesha is going to be a waker. Who thinks that I am a waker? Thinks I am a Jiva? And he is told that you are Turiya. Now, I can't be told I am Turiya if I am not. This teaching is imparted to Vishwa. Even though we say that you are not dreamer, no, nobody says I am a dreamer because I am not around or sleeper. It's all included. Basically, what is needed to be said is you are not a waker. Now, who is being told? One who thinks that I am a waker. Who are you? You are Turiya, you are Brahman. Now, how can you say you are Brahman if I am not Brahman? So I am already Brahman, taking myself a waker. Therefore, I am told that the one who think you are waker is in fact Brahman. That which you think is rope is snake. What you think is a thief is stump of tree. So what you think as Jivatma or waker is Brahman. And therefore, then further Anandagiri says, Nanu sthanatre vishistasya atmanah neva turiyatmatvam turiya granthena pratipadyate. Although we already said here, but Nanu sthanatre vishistasya atmanah. This Atma, Jivatma, who is characterized by the 3 states, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Neva turiyatmatvam turiya granthena pratipadyate. But this text, beginning with Nanda Prajnam, is not in fact expounding that this one, the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, is Turiya. Why? Turiyasya Vishishtat Vilakshanattvena Atyanta Bhinnatvat. Hey, Turiya is the fourth one. Totally different, but these are all qualified fellows. He is unqualified. So Turiya that is unqualified is naturally different from this qualified Atma. So by saying you are not waker, not dreamer, not sleeper, how do you say that you are Turiya? Because Turiya is unqualified, different from this fellow. He is the qualified self, and Turiya is different from the qualified, different. Therefore, by teaching this qualified self that you are not waker, not dreamer, how do you make him see that I am Turiya? Because Turiya is different from me. So Bhashyakara says, Yadi Trivasthatma Vilakshanam Turiyam. If Turiya the fourth was totally different from 3, was not present in the 3, then Turiyam Anyat Tat Pratipatti Dvara Abhavat Shastra Upadesha Anatakyam Sunyata Apattirva. If that Vishishta who is Jiva, the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, if Turiya, the fourth or Brahman, is totally different from the 3, meaning that Turiya was different from me, that means that I am not experiencing Turiya. Meaning Turiya is not part of my life, not part of my vyavahara, not part of my experience, not connected with me. In that case, Bhashyakara says, Yadihi Triyavasthatma Vilakshanam Turiyam. If Turiya was Vilakshana, totally different from the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, Anyat Tat Pratipatti Dvar, then how do you make him see? Because Turiya, I have no connection with Turiya. I have no experience of Turiya. Turiya is not part of my life. How do you make me see? It's like a black hole, Not part of my life, not connected. What does it matter also? If there is some entity called Turiyam, Shantam Shivadved, thank you. Because I have no connection with that. If you say there is Ishvara who is in the heaven of such and such greatness, thank you, it's nice to know. But as long as Ishvara has nothing to do with my life, similarly, if Turiya is not connected with my life, not involved in my life, then it doesn't matter to me whether it's there or not, or how it doesn't matter to me, because by knowing Turiya to be so and so, no change will happen to me. I don't stand to gain anything. It may be the general knowledge, intellectual knowledge, but of no use. So Bhashyakara says, if Turiya was totally different from these three, then there is no way that you can even teach. So how do you, if he is not part of my life or experience, then even if you describe it, I will never know it. You follow? See, I can know something. When you describe in words something, I can understand that thing or know something, provided those words are part of my experiences. If you use a word which is meaningless, gagavagang, something like that, it doesn't convey anything to me. There's no gagavagang, our Swami's famous thing. If Turiya is like that, meaning that it is not part of experience and it cannot be communicated. What can you communicate is what is within the realm of my experience. Turiya is very much within the realm of experience, and that it can be communicated. Had it been not so, number one, it would not matter to me. Number two, it could not be communicated to me. Therefore, Vishishta, the Jiva-Atma is a Dwara, is a great way of teaching Turiya by making him give up the superimposition part so that he recognizes himself as Turiya. He happens to be Turiya. And Turiya thinks that I am Vaikar. So Turiya is told that Vaikarness is wrong. So when this, I am not Vaikar, that idea comes from gross body, I didn't give it up. Then I see myself, all false ideas are given up, recognizing why they are arising, then I see myself for what I am. Otherwise, Turiyamanyat tat pratipatti dvara abhavad. So it's interesting how Jivatma becomes dvara, the great way, the means of knowing Brahman. Because Brahman is itself. Brahman shines as itself. Brahman is always experience. Only notions about Brahman have to be removed, no experiences to be created, and Brahman is self-shining. Therefore, you don't need words to eliminate word Brahman also. Therefore, Shastra Upadesha Anarthakyam, if Turiya was totally different from me, Vaikar, dreamer, deep sleeper, then Shastra will not, Upadesh will not serve the purpose, because those words would make no sense to me. If Shastra uses words which are not part of my life or Vyavahara, they would make no sense, they would not communicate anything. And Shunyata apattirva. Then what happens is, so I would ultimately come to conclusion that there is no such thing as Turiya at all. Vishishtasyeva pratipatya turisa pratipattau pratipannasya vishvadehe vishishtasya pratyudastvat. See, what I am experiencing is that I am a Vaikar, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper. What does Upanishad say? You are not Vaikar, you are not dreamer, you are not sleeper. I am not Vaikar, I am not dreamer, I am not sleeper. So therefore, whatever I think I am is all negated. What remains? Shunyam. If I am not Turiya already, if Turiya is different from me, and then I am told that you are not a Vaikar, not a dreamer, not a sleeper, then whatever I am is all negated. You follow this? Then nothing is left in me. In this case, since I am Turiya, and I think that I am a Vaikar, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper, when those notions are negated, then I recognize myself for what I am. Therefore, Turiya cannot be apart from the three, it cannot be apart from me. then only the Upadesha will work. If apart from me, then you are already negating what I think I am. So weaker I am not, dreamer I am not, sleeper I am, that means I am nothing. So shunyata apatti, then I will see myself that you are telling me that I am shunya. So this is what will happen. Therefore, even though we call it fourth, it is not fourth in the sense of totally different from three. In some way you call it fourth because it is different from three, but not totally different from three. What is the difference there? That the three are not different from the fourth. Fourth is different from three, but three are not different from four. B is not equal to A is equal to B. So the beggar is not the actor is the beggar. Means the truth, the false is, the mithya is not different from satyam. Satyam is different from mithya. So yes, it is called fourth also, because it is different from three. It is not fourth in absolute sense because the three are not different from four. So fourth you call it is right also because it is different from three. But not so different that the fourth is no connection with three. The three are not different from four. That being the equation, that is why this teaching works. Otherwise, if the fourth was a transcendental in the heaven there, you will never know it. Because what words would describe it? It's a transcendental reality, not a part of Vyavahara at all. There is no Vyavaharic words can describe it, isn't it? Even though transcendent also cannot describe it, because when you transcend what? Unless it is immanent also. So Turiyam is not only transcendental, it is immanent also. Meaning that not only transcends the Vishwa, Tejasa, Prajna, it pervades them also. So it is Turiya alone who thinks that I am Vishwa, I am Tejasa, I am Prajna. So Turiya is told that you are not Vishwa, you are not Tejasa, you are not Prajna. Who is told? Turiya is told. If someone else is told, then he said, then what am I? I am left with nothing. No, here I am left with Turiya. And that's how the Turiya is to be known as the very self. That's the only way it can be known and it should be known. And this is the way that the Jivatma, the seeker, is made to see the self is Turiya. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.